Hey guys, it's
We're live, right? Here we are.
yes, we're live. It's PR Project. We're live, and I'm in Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Yeah,
thought it was going to be Aaron and I to start the show. And then Tommy, like, no, I'll be there. Thinking you
yeah.
made your flight, but no.
I feel like I've had some really great luck lately with like flights and stuff like that because I got there at 12 ish for my 2 o'clock flight. Then that 2 o'clock flight turned into a four. Actually, we went out. We were in the airplane for like an hour and a half, just like
Oh, no
sitting
kidding.
out there. Yeah. Then he drove back. He dropped us off at the gate. We get out. They're like, it's gonna be at least an hour. And then 2 hours later, they just canceled everything. And then all of a sudden, you see like that mad dash of people like find out something at the same time, and everybody like rushes to that one gate that's like handling all the rebookings. So I'm standing in line like on the app, and come to find out like there's no chance I'm not even going to be able to get to. They're like, there's no flights available between now until like Tuesday morning to New York because New York has like some crazy weather right now. But good thing is I made the show, and I'm just happy to see you guys.
I know.
Man, golly.
Perfectly timed, Gary. Perfectly timed.
What was I like freezing up again?
No.
Okay, you just
That
didn't
was
like my
just a
story,
perfectly-
whatever.
just a
No, it was,
perfectly-
I have like multiple things going on in the background. So trying not to disturb the flow of the show. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you keep on perfectly timing your vibes. What did you guys do today? Aaron, you ran a long distance.
Yeah, I ran forever and ever. 20-mile long run today. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm a little
Wait,
sleepy.
is this the first time we've been together, all three of us, in like 2 weeks because I was gone and then you were gone, Aaron?
Probably.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Don't have
Yeah.
anything about more than 24 hours in the past. I won't know.
Everything only thing that I remember that was in the past recently was like the Olympics. Like that's all I remember. Like anything in my personal life, I'm not even sure really what's going on.
That's
Did
valid.
I pay that
Yeah.
bill? Did I pay that bill? Who knows?
It's kind of like you don't know what to watch. You don't know what to do. You're like your days were filled up watching track and field or thank you, Mark. Track and field and other Olympic events. And I kind of
Climbing.
like, okay, now what do we do?
Did you guys catch climbing?
I didn't catch climbing, but I
I saw
so
bits.
The thing about climbing, if you blink, you'll miss it.
they go that fast?
5
Yeah,
seconds.
they're like seconds.
5
They're
seconds
like
and they up the wall. It's
No,
unreal.
no. Like what kind of wall?
It's like a climbing wall.
Yeah, like the walls that they climb. Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Like, what are they
they're like
doing?
Spider-Man. They scale it so quick. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they're not like trying to like
They
get to
climb
the
up
top
that thing
like
quick.
in a workout type of way. They're like, how fast can I get to the top of this mountain or this wall? It's insane.
Does anybody fall?
And it is over.
Does anybody fall?
I mean, they got the bungees and all the safety equipment on there. I didn't see
I mean,
anybody
like, do
fall, but
they-
I'm sure they'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
I
not- it's
didn't
not-
mean like do
they're
they
not free
fall to their
soloing.
death?
Yeah, they're not gonna free solo this thing. So
Have you seen Free Solo?
I
Either
have.
one of you?
Yeah.
The
Yes.
the documentary. I know that he doesn't plummet to his death, but the whole movie, I'm like on the edge of my seat. Like I know for sure he lives. Like I saw his interview after the. Like, is he gonna die now? Like he doesn't die. Just to let you know, he doesn't die,
Spoiler
which is
alert.
great. Good news. Spoiler alert. He doesn't die.
The movie's like 4 years old, but just in case.
But it's still like so intense to see somebody climb up the face of a mountain with no ropes and anything like that, you know?
yeah.
I just have to ask because we haven't talked about it. What do you guys think about breaking being canceled for next Olympics?
I think I had it built up in my head. It was going to be super awesome, and it ended up being. And even
It
without
was
the
less
Australian-
than
even without
me.
without my Australian friend,
Ray Gunn, Rachel Gunn.
Ray
Ray Gunn.
Rygon. I don't know. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
She's an Olympian though.
Yeah, I didn't see one clip actually. I intentionally stayed away.
You could. There's not a chance that you've been on the internet the last week and you didn't see Homegirl.
No,
Yeah,
I
see,
know
like,
about her.
around.
I've heard it, but I didn't watch it.
Bro,
I
when
couldn't.
she
I get
hit the
secondhand
bunny hop.
embarrassment way too easy, and I don't need to watch somebody making a fool of themselves.
she legit did a kangaroo hop.
I don't know if yeah, that was kangaroo. I'm sorry, I said bunny hop, but I guess Australia
Yeah.
probably kangaroo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she single-handedly got it canceled though.
Yeah, I'll go for that. I believe that
Yeah.
for sure. I just
Yeah,
think
no,
it was.
it
I
was-
think it was cool. I think it was a cool idea. I think it's one of those things where in your mind it's like this is going to be sweet, and then when you see it, you're like, okay, this
So
having
no,
this on this platform is not for this sport.
I'm just gonna say, and I mean maybe everyone that was like hip hop heads or like whatever, from the 80s, whatever it is. I just think that breaking itself should just be maybe retired. And then
I
let
actually didn't
whatever
realize
new
breaking was
form.
still a thing.
Yeah,
And-
I thought it had evolved to something different. I thought what I've been seeing happening for like the last 10 years, I thought that was breaking in like a new form of breaking. It's not.
You know,
Breaking is
all the
still what
raves
it
you've been
was.
going to.
Yeah, I've been going to raves like you wouldn't even know, Gary. It's Tommy Raves.
That's insane. Insanity.
But guys,
I missed the show last weekend, so I'm gonna assume you guys touched on everything, pretty much everything interesting from the Olympics. So
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Did you just say that you had faith that we handled business and actually talked about real things on this show?
yeah, for sure.
I think
I'm assuming that you guys gave expert level analysis on all the running events.
we
And
talked
then
about the
some.
running events and then some for sure. And Gary invited and challenged Lamont to a race. You didn't see. Oh my gosh.
Why did we not
With-
break that out?
with ice packs on our quads though. Like it's got to be an ice pack race. So
He faked that injury, but I'm just saying.
a prefab race.
He faked that injury. All right.
Speaking of the
I would suggest that if you did not check out the last episode, I would suggest you go back, listen to that episode. But we're really excited today. First, I'll give a shout out to Puma Running. Puma is powering the Summer Speed this year. If you are not part of it, I'm sorry, it's too late. No, we're not taking any more people into the Summer Speed. It is what it is. We have 4 more giveaways, I believe, 3 or 4 more giveaways for the Puma Deviate Nitro 3. A wonderful training shoe, very versatile, long run, easy run, tempo run, maybe some intervals, all the stuff in between. Very, very good shoe. It's like it is honestly one of those shoes. It's like you could buy that shoe and then a race day shoe and you're good for quite some time.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. So shout out to Puma for powering the Summer Speed. And we're going to be doing a giveaway later. But we had a theme going on with the PR Project. And we made a joke about it. In order to be a guest on PR Project, you have to be what, Aaron?
You have to be an Olympian.
You have to be an Olympian.
Or because it was before the Olympics actually happened, you had to be Olympic elect, I guess you would say. You know, an Olympic qualifier.
About to be. Yeah. So we had Molly Seidel, who is an Olympian, and then we had Rory Linkletter, who was about to be an Olympian and is now officially an Olympian. And then so we might as well double back after the Olympians or Olympics and double back with an Olympian again. Did I do that right?
Yeah.
Third time's a charm. Welcome to the show.
Ring.
We have our third Olympic. Dang, we just got to get 2 more.
2 more. We got to get 2 more.
Hey, I'm gonna get Elliot. All right, so on the show, without further ado, we have Olympian Dakota Lindworm. And then I gotta hit the button to bring her onto the show. What's up, Dakota?
Hey, how's it going?
I mean, we're better now. So
welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Yeah, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on. I like that hoodie or that sweater.
Oh yeah, Puma.
Okay, Puma. All right, Puma. All right. So so we have Dakota Lindworm, Puma athlete, marathoner, Olympian, like two-time grandma's marathon champion, two-time Olympic trials qualifier. Very nice person, newly engaged, all the good things.
All the good things.
Yeah, I think you hit them all.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote the whole Wikipedia that's there. So just if you like that, then just say, just do. You're welcome is all I need. Thank you, and you're welcome to you. But thank you so much for coming on the show. We got Gary, we got Aaron, and we're gonna hit you with all the hard hitting questions. So hopefully you did your homework about yourself.
I'll figure it out. Fake it till you make it.
But if we could, maybe we just start like on something a little slower, a little easier, softball. Like, when did you start running? And then like, when did you realize that like, oh my, like I'm kind of fast here. Like this might be a thing.
Yeah. So I started running in high school. I was a freshman, grew up in Minnesota. So I was playing hockey growing up. And when I was a freshman, my mom was like, you've got to do something other than hockey. Like all your friends are hockey players. That's all you do all summer. She just wanted me to broaden my horizons. And I thought she was trying to ruin my life, to be honest, because I was so invested in hockey. But I joined running or track because I usually beat the boys in gym class. So I was like, I must be pretty fast at this. Joined track and took last a lot that first year in the JV meets, and just fell in love with how it seemed like over the course of just a season, I was getting so much better. And then like I came back for cross country, ran a lot that first summer, and was like, oh, I'm no longer the worst on the team. There's like so much room for improvement here in running. And I fell in love with that and the social aspect of running. But man, I don't know, until I probably ran Chicago and ran 224. That was probably the first time I was like, I'm pretty fast. I might have some ceiling
wow.
here.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely not fast then yet. Because if you got to run 224 to be like, okay, I'm fast, then I got a long way to go.
I mean, we're just living in such a crazy era. Like I remember when I broke 230 for the first time, and I was like, oh, that was really cool. But then I kind of looked around and I was like, actually, breaking 230 is not really what it was a few years ago. So I just feel like we're in a world where everybody's getting so much faster every day that the bar is always getting higher.
True. It sounds like your mom was a little more worried about her dental plan than you. She's like, we got to get you out of hockey before you start losing teeth.
Yeah, and to make matters worse, I was a goalie, so I mean, it's probably good on her side.
She was looking out for your well-being for sure.
Yeah, I kept playing hockey, but slowly started to fall in love with running more.
Nice. When we were in Eugene, so we interviewed a bunch of runners in Eugene, and we would always ask them, we kind of had this theme was like, when was the one race of your life? And it may be more than one race, but we would say, when was the one race of your life that you just felt like you put everything together perfectly, and it was just like the greatest race you had? And for some strange reason, when we were in Eugene, everybody was like, oh, well, I was a sophomore in high school. I was a sophomore in high school. I was a sophomore in high school. It was something about sophomore year in high school that everybody just like had the greatest race of their life, and they just like figured it out. So what would you say was that race for you? And was it your sophomore year of high school?
It definitely wasn't sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
I'm sorry to break that streak. Like even coming out of high school, being a senior, I was still just not that great at running, but loved it so much. I have very few memories from high school running that were good. I'd say that one race has to be, I think, the trials. I feel like that was the 2024 trials, obviously making the Olympic team. I felt like that was the first time I ever really understood what people meant when they say like, you're watching yourself run. You're not really like in your body running. It was just kind of like everything went the way I needed it to. Everything went so perfectly. And I kind of found that like flow or the zen that people talk about.
Can you talk about that though? Like what? Like I've had moments where I feel like maybe I passed out and I was watching myself like after running a workout,
Yeah.
But I've never had like a moment where it just felt like like literally everything was flowing. And at that moment, for the trials was like a very big moment in your career. Like you're like you've trained really well, you're feeling really great. You're in this moment that is like a huge moment for you, and you know that you want to do and need to do well because you have a goal to make it to the Olympics. Like, what's that like, having that moment where you're like, wow, this is going really well, things are going to plan, and also it's at like the biggest moment of my life right now?
Yeah, that's the weird part, is I feel like you don't even realize it's happening until later, and people are like asking you questions, and it's like, oh, I almost don't even remember the race because I was so present, but also not present. It's like the weirdest mix. But I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better day for that to happen. And it's something I'm trying to figure out, like, how do I key back in on that? And I feel like I've been able to kind of recreate it a couple of times just at Grandma's half. And I feel like that happened during the Olympic marathon also a little bit. So I think there's just like trying to find this peace while you're running, try to shut your brain off. But yeah.
So was it, is it something that like that you feel like you can perfect, or is it just something that kind of comes with like the intensity of the run, or like the severity of it? Like, is it something you could tap into, or is it something that you just kind of have to push yourself to?
Yeah, I think it's something that I'm figuring out you could tap into. I've read like my whole bookshelf back there is all like running psychology books. So I've read about it a ton, and I've just never felt like I was able to understand what that meant. But I think I'm starting to like kind of get a grasp of it. I think there's a lot of room for improvement. And it's like one of those things that's almost so surreal that it's hard to explain, I guess. Cause it's like, for the example, the first climb in Paris, I was way out the back. It was like 30 seconds back. And it was like, all of a sudden I looked up and I was with everybody again. And I almost don't have memories of what was happening there, because it was just my body doing exactly what it needed to.
Like, yeah, it was like, fine, like, hey, you train for it, you train for this, and then it just happens to do it. And it's like, I guess it's like some of those moments when we're all running and you kind of take your mind off of maybe the pain, or like you just kind of relax a bit, and when you thought you couldn't go any faster, or you thought you couldn't keep that pace, somehow you're like still doing it, a couple miles later. So maybe I'll think about you next time that I'm like in nearing the pain cave. I'll try to think about you.
Yeah. Or I think it's like comparable to being on a long run with friends, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, 12 miles already, you're done. Like, what just happened for the last hour and a half? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's that moment, or that feeling of just kind of being in flow and not really realizing you're running even.
One of the questions we asked Molly when she's running is mantras, and you mentioned you have the sports psychology books in the back. So obviously you probably read like a ton of different mantras, or, brain tricks, whether it's turning it off and like you said, 12 miles later, you're like, what happened? Do you have a mantra, or do you just really just let your brain just kind of like, my body's doing the work, this is what I trained for, just let it take over, don't worry about a mantra, just go?
I definitely do tap into a mantra when I need it. Since college, I've been saying, I am strong, I am fast, my speed will last. So it's a longer mantra. It's not just like a one word, but it kind of gets me into that like calm state. It's like rhythmic. Obviously it rhymes. And I can kind of like get my breathing to it. But occasionally you kind of just draw on like what you need in the moment. Sometimes.
Do you put it to music in your head? Is there a song that goes with it?
No, I kind of just do it how I said it. Like, I am strong. I try to do it slow, because I think I found like the more calm that you are in a race, the better the race turns out. Like, when you get yourself all hyped up and it's too soon, like you can be hyped for like 400 meters when you see the finish line at a marathon, but before that, it's too soon to be excited. So like just trying to stay calm for sure.
Yeah, and staying calm in such a epic like moment of like the Olympics. Did you have that moment of like, holy shit, I'm running in the Olympics? Or did that happen maybe before or after? Did that ever cross your mind when you were out there?
Yeah, I was really trying to just hold that back, similar to like at the trials when I was in third, just being like, you just can't celebrate yet because it's too soon until you see the finish line. And I wasn't ready to celebrate because I think the worst case situation is that you don't finish that. And when you've had like a really great training cycle and you're not feeling injured, you're not feeling sick, like that was like the scariest thing for me, was like, no matter what happens today, I'm crossing the finish line. If I have to crawl, I'm going to cross that finish line. So I just really wasn't trying to think about being like, oh, I'm an Olympian today if I can cross the finish line.
Man, I don't like, if I would be tripping just being in Paris. The whole like first 10 miles, I'd have been like, I'm running in Paris. I'm running in Paris. And then maybe eventually, like, okay, yeah, this is the Olympics. It's time to lock in. I put a question poll up on on Instagram just to see if people have some questions for you, and a couple people asked directly, and I'm like, we got to get to this soon. So the Paris course was a little different than the normal marathon that pretty much anybody's really seen, but obviously championship racing like that is known to be a little more challenging, and it's hot and all that stuff. But there apparently was like 2 mountains in your race. Can you just like, I guess, talk to us like beforehand? You knew that this was going to be a hilly race. You saw the elevation change. Did you have time to go out there to check it out? And what were your thoughts like going into the race, like knowing that it was going to be such a hilly course?
Yeah, I just shout out Puma again. During the Paris Marathon in April, like their true marathon, they flew us out, Fiona and I and a few other marathoners, to see the course and participate in marathon weekend. So I did get to run that loop before, and like when I say it's hard to describe it, I mean that so sincerely. It's not anything close to heartbreak. It's significantly worse. It's like if you can think of a hill near your house where it's like almost you want to put your hands on your thighs and like power up it like a trail runner would, a mountain runner. That's how crazy it was. But I think with anything, it's just like as long as your expectations meet reality, it's okay. My coach was out there to see it in April also, so he created training that would mimic it and get me ready for it. And then in my head, I was just trying to like almost make it worse than it was somehow, so that when I got there, I was like, okay, this isn't as bad as I was imagining it was. Because I think the worst thing that you can do is minimize anything, and then when you get there, it's like way harder. That's like a big psychological trick, is like going into a marathon, you can't hope that it's not going to hurt. It's going to hurt, and you have to welcome the pain. If you are naive enough to think it's not going to hurt, you're going to be in somehow more pain because your expectations were so off. So yeah, I was super lucky to go see the hills because I think it made it easier for me in the race.
I love that you're like,
go ahead, Tommy.
I love that you're like, let's imagine it worse. I'm like, what did you bring? What were we talking about? Like, was it like the wall climbing? Did you bring like your climbing gear? Because the only thing worse than that hill looked like straight up mountain climbing.
Yeah, I should have. I mean, even I watched the men's race on TV the day before, and it like
did that make it worse?
It put the fear God in me again. I was like, oh, it looks so bad.
Are you able to? You live in the Twin City areas. Are you able to train on hills? Do you? I mean, like, kind of get out into the state more? I assume they got some hilly spots like Michigan does, where you can find hills that would not maybe mimic exactly, but give you at least a good idea.
Yeah, I'm in a Twin Cities suburb that's actually super hilly, so that's really great. Yeah, we've got quite a few hills that we can definitely, like, I can go out for a 10-mile run and climb 1,000 feet of elevation pretty easily. So if I want to, I do normally avoid that. I was trying to get on those hills for the build of this time, but yeah.
And did you feel in the race and in the preparation for the race, did you ever feel like you were calling back to your history as a trail runner to kind of give you that reassurance that you were capable to run a course like that?
Yeah, not a lot of people know that I ran a few trail marathons in college. So those hills that I did there were pretty horrible too, and I knew I could survive them. But I think just being able to train for them this last build and knowing what the hill looked like, I think was the most important thing for me.
Gotta look the hill in the face before it takes your soul in the race, right?
Absolutely.
So
I love
did
that.
you-
I've never heard that before.
did you like you gotta know what's about to take your soul. So did you are you the type of runner that like do you look down running up a hill, or do you like just like stay looking like up towards the top?
So psychology says you should keep your eyes down, especially on like a big hill like that. I'd occasionally look up because I was catching a girl, so I was just trying to see like, okay, am I gaining? Am I losing? Because that kind of motivated me. I would say before this season, I wouldn't have considered myself a hill runner, like a very strong hill runner. And so to like look up and see that I'm catching somebody, I was like, dang, maybe I am a hill runner. Watch out. So that was kind of like my motivation when I was struggling there. But yeah, I mean, psychology says keep your eyes down because it just feels like one of those like bad dreams you have where it just is never ending otherwise.
I need to learn
Yeah.
that for sure because I look up, so I need to learn to change that for sure.
Yeah, just like right,
Yeah.
like 3-4 feet in front of you. You don't have to like look all the way down, but just don't look up at it.
Yeah, because they were when the men ran, they were like like this expressly talking about Tamaret Tola was like he never looked down. He was just always like looking straight forward. And I mean, I don't know what maybe he wasn't even thinking or had his eyes open. Maybe he just like was asleep with his eyes open, his legs were moving, but he definitely wasn't looking down. So I'm like, that's kind of strange. So I tried it like on a run and I'm like, I'm going to look up because that's what he did. And I'm like, let me look down at these feet, make sure we're still going here.
Yeah.
I think that's better for me.
That is crazy that he was looking up. He had to have been mind off because every time I'd look up, I'd be like, oh, crap. We still got a long way to go.
Yeah. Which one was worse, the first or the second?
The second hill was much worse for sure.
A little steeper, but shorter though, right?
It was shorter, but the steepness was like 14%, which is like most people can't even conceptualize how hilly, like how steep that is. Most hills are like I'd be afraid driving down it or up it.
Oh yeah, that was a street.
Yeah, right. It's a street.
People drive.
If it was snowy or icy ever, you could never go up or down it.
You can't even set the incline on a treadmill to 14%. That's ridiculous.
Why would they do? They have this called a Stairmaster. It's right next to the treadmill.
Yeah,
it's available.
Do you think
I feel like you'd have to try that?
Do you think they should have put something like that in the Olympic Trials Marathon? Like Orlando's flat, right? There's really not a lot of hills, but like find something, man. Like purpose for this.
Yeah, I feel like they couldn't have created a hill like that in Orlando. And I think going into it before we had known what the Paris course was, people just assumed that it wouldn't be, the Olympics wouldn't be hilly because if you've been to Paris, it's not really hilly at all in the city. So I think it was a curveball completely that they decided to bring us out to Versailles and back.
Oh man, but it was probably really pretty. Like, I mean, especially once you got to the top. Were you able to see anything like, or were you just so like mind on running by the time you crest that last hill and it was kind of like, okay, downhill to the finish? Did you take that in any moment? Like, wow, we're way up here, or did you just like lock in and keep going?
Yeah, when the men were running, I was like, oh, it's going to be so pretty. I can't wait to see all the scenery. And no, I did not enjoy a single thing, which is crazy because when you go out to the Versailles Castle or whatever they call it, you run right towards it. There's no way to miss it. It's a huge building. If you've seen a picture of it, you can't miss it. And somehow I never even looked at it. So
wow,
yeah,
like you just ran around this huge building, never saw it.
Yeah.
No, that's how it is though. People go like, "Oh, you probably got to see a lot of Chicago or whatever." I'm like, I don't even.
I saw street. I saw street. I saw some sidewalk, but that's about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So to change gears just a little bit. I'm sorry, Tommy. I didn't mean to step on you, but as our audience knows, I'm a huge NBA fan. I'm a huge basketball nerd, and one of the pinned photos on your Instagram is with you and Anthony Edwards, two Minnesota legends. How was that? How was it to be around all those amazing athletes that represent the United States, and meeting Anthony Edwards, that had to be super cool because he seems to be like the coolest guy ever. So how was that?
Yeah, it was awesome. Getting ready for opening ceremonies, it kind of, brought us all together. And all of a sudden LeBron walked by, and I literally think I had to like pick my jaw up off the floor. And I was like so starstruck. And I was literally thinking to myself, if I don't see anybody else that cool, like that's going to be fine. Like this is the pinnacle of the Olympics for me already. And then all of a sudden Ant walked by. And I won't say that I'm a longtime Timberwolves fan, but this last year we had such a good run. And I think I went to like 8 or 9 games. So I let him walk by and I was like, I'm not going to be the girl who bothers him. And then he got like 3 steps in front of me and I was like, I'm going to regret it for a long time if I don't. And my fiance is a huge, huge Ant fan. So I was like, Ant, like I had so much fun this season. I can't wait for next season. And like totally fangirled on him. And I was like, I pulled out my phone and I was getting up the nerve to like ask him for a photo. And he was like, let's do it. He pumped me up to do a photo with him. And he was just so amazing. And I think for like an hour after, I was just like buzzing with energy. It was such a highlight for me for sure. He was just as cool as you think he would be.
That's awesome. That's so awesome.
Yeah, I just think that whole concept of just like, I guess you don't think about it. Like when I think of Olympics, I do think of all the different sports, but then I just never think about like the concept that all of you all are in like the same place, especially in the beginning, like interacting and like it's just there's people that, that just would never have an opportunity to like, meet Ant or LeBron or whatever. And just all of a sudden, everything's like, you guys are right there celebrating the same exact like accomplishment of reaching the pinnacle of all of the sports at one time.
Yeah, and truly it made me realize like, oh, we're teammates. He's not just somebody I look up to, which I do, but we're teammates too. So in some way we're on the same level, just a little different.
100, no, not even a little different. Like you are 100% on the same team. And, and you did your thing too. So it's not like you just like, you didn't just do like one event and then like go home. You did like the event. You ran like the toughest hill. Ant would not have, if you guys lined up together, you would have won by a lot, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You're
and
better.
He would have raced you. That's the funny part.
The funny
part.
He
would not turn down competition in any way. So he would have tried to run up the hill with you, and he would have been humble.
Yeah, I'm sure. But if I tried to get on the basketball court with him, I'd be humbled too.
Yeah, I think I don't know which one would be more embarrassing. I'm not sure.
Mine, for sure.
I don't know. I mean, you played hockey, so a couple elbows here and there,
That's true. I could maybe body him, but he's also like probably 3 times my size.
So you were there for a full 2 weeks. Right.
Yeah, I was there even longer. I was there for about a week before opening ceremonies. I'd say jet lag just is my mortal enemy. I get pretty rattled by it. So I wanted to be on Paris time for opening ceremonies because you have to stay up so late. So I didn't want to feel like crap during the opening ceremonies or anything. So yeah, we were there for the full like 3 weeks before the race, and then we stayed a week after.
Did you get a chance to check out any of the other events or any of the other sports?
Yeah, I saw soccer. One of my strength coaches was actually like the soccer PT, so he hooked me up with some tickets. I saw a night of track, the 100-meter women's finals, and then
did you?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, obviously, I was really pulling for Sha'Carri, but it was still like if that stadium was so amazing, and to see like so many people excited about track kind of got me like emotional. I was like, why isn't this like this every other year? I wish track got the love that they got at the Olympics all the time.
Yeah, maybe if the new track professional league that Michael Johnson is doing gets going, and the sprint series on Netflix, is track is kind of having a moment. So maybe we do see it become a thing that's more than just every 4 years. That would be really cool.
Totally. And I do think that like sprint was having its effect out there, because even more so than like the French runners, I felt like the sprint athletes were getting more love from the crowd. When Sha'Carri stepped out, it was it was so it erupted in there like I've never experienced. And I was like, like Netflix is actually doing us some good here, I think, for sure.
And was it still like a home? I mean, it was in France. I mean, was it still like a home turf type of thing there?
Absolutely. Okay. There definitely were a ton of French people, I'd say the overwhelming majority.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so I kind of wondered, like, because it's Olympics, I mean, because we've been to Worlds when it was in Eugene, and I mean, obviously it was very American there, I would say, but it still seemed like there was a lot of people from like all over the world. So I wondered, like, in this situation, since it's Paris, I wondered like how many people like came in and were able to kind of like even it out at all. But when every time I'd see like a French athlete come out, you could definitely tell the crowd kind of piped up a little bit. And that's one thing I wish was a little easier to like hear and feel while watching is like the crowd noise. Like obviously it's reasons why they can't like pump up that sound, but sometimes like you just want to hear like what's happening in the stadium when like someone breaks a world record or a meet record.
Totally, especially like like Mondo doing his last jump. I can't even imagine how loud that was in there because just introducing the 100-meter athletes was like shaking the stadium. So I feel like you definitely missed out on like the buzz of the stadium by not being there, I guess. But I do wish that they could show that to the fans better too.
Yeah, so we do have a couple questions in here. This is a very I don't know if this is for us or maybe for you, but I mean, I'm sure you should be the one to answer.
They don't care about us. This is about her.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. I mean, what fields do you have on your watch during the race, and how often do you look? Yeah, that's definitely not for me because I don't even know what fields are.
That's interesting. So normally, if I'm running a marathon, I'll be looking every mile, and all I really care about is like what the pace of that last mile was and what my heart rate was, and sometimes I'll check my cadence. Just to make sure I'm keeping it up. I notice that like when my race, when I'm really going downhill, when I hit the wall really bad in a marathon, my cadence really starts to slow down. And that's one thing that I can think about to be like, okay, I can prevent some of the slowdown if I can just keep my cadence a little bit higher. The Olympics was weird though, because I was in kilometers and I was doing every 2K then because I didn't want to look every kilometer. 42 times looking at your watch is a lot.
Yeah, I remember Tommy was preparing for Berlin or maybe London a few years ago. And I'm just like, they're going to have markers at the kilometers and not miles, right? He's like, no, they're going to have miles for sure. And then he came back and was like, they didn't have miles.
They didn't have it. So I was just like, okay. Like, and it meant, it's just so funny that a kilometer means absolutely nothing to me.
I'm like doing math during the race, and I'm like, I still don't know what this means. And also, I don't know, did this take you by surprise? I thought a marathon was 42 kilometers.
42.195.
I know. When I got to 42, I was like, wait a second.
I was told we were finished by now.
Yeah. At least for like pros, like you hit 42 and you're like, okay, we should be done here. Like I probably run 48, 49 kilometers. I don't know, maybe not 49, but like I run 26.35 or 4 almost every time I run a marathon because of like the crowd and the way that you had to kind of like maneuver.
Totally.
You guys at least get to keep it like, close as possible to that measurement,
Yeah. Totally. When it comes to the kilometers, after 10, I'm kind of lost because I run 5Ks, I run 10Ks, and that's it.
Right.
That's what I was doing. That's what I was doing in Berlin was like, okay, 5K, I got this time. And then I was like trying to do math in 5Ks. And I swore I was about to break the world record. Like I was like, oh, this is great. Like I'm at 40 and I'm like, oh no. I'm like 10 minutes behind my goal. Never mind. Like I don't know.
Your math when you're running hard is just so bad. I swear I get like dyslexic. Like I can't carry a one. I can't do anything.
I can't even do directions. Aaron's like told me like before, like, okay, we get here, go left on this street. Left. And I'm like, okay, left. I take off, first street, fly right by it. There's no chance. There's no brain. That's just like you got to worry about the pace. That's it.
Yeah.
It's low power. You put the brain in low power mode and it only does simple functions.
That's funny. I've never heard that before. I'm gonna steal that joke.
Yeah, but yeah, make sure you give him credit. But all
Yeah.
right, so let's okay, hold on. I do have a question. We gotta get ask some more people. So Alexis, she's basically a fourth member of the show. What was your favorite part of the opening or closing ceremonies?
So I only did opening ceremonies. I didn't participate in closing, but it's hard to decide. I'm going to say two different ones. One being on the boat, and the crowds, every time we come by, everybody would just chant USA, USA, and the whole boat would chant with it. So I felt like, I don't know, it felt really cool how much love we got out there. But also seeing Celine Dion perform was like, I still get chills thinking about it. It was such a beautiful performance, and knowing like what she's gone through to get to that point is super awesome. And I felt like it was a great way to kick off the show, like watching what you can do through hard times, and how amazing it can be on the other side of difficult moments.
The Clydesdale Runner on Instagram says, "Do you find any irony in being in a relationship with a guy named Montana as a Dakota?"
I can't tell you how many times we we get like stopped and be like, is that real? There's no way, if we introduce ourselves. Yeah, of course. It's so funny. And someday I'm sure we'll have kids named Georgia and Texas and
Gotta be Wyoming and Idaho.
Yeah, no, you gotta keep it correct. You gotta keep it geographically correct.
Yeah, I'll do
You
just Midwest states, Wisconsin.
Or like whatever the two states are like under, Dakota,
Nebraska
whatever.
and
Yeah.
I don't know where it goes from there.
Nebraska
Oklahoma.
may not be a bad name.
Yeah.
You think?
I think.
But you have to throw the H in there no matter what.
Yeah. Throw an H on the end just for fun.
Yeah.
Or maybe Guam. That'd be cool.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, you're so nice, because that's terrible.
I mean, I'll take it. I mean, what am I gonna do? Texas? They're all terrible.
Yeah, yeah,
They're all
yeah.
terrible.
That's not. Florida would maybe not be all that great either.
Yeah.
So my daughter, I
Right.
told my daughters that I said, "Hey, we're gonna have an Olympian on the show," and my youngest daughter, she said, "When do you rest?" Like, I go, "Well, do you mean after the race?" Sure, but just in general. But like post race, how long do you take off? You said you spent another week in Paris, or at least France. And then are you
Yeah.
back up running now? Are you got plans for something? The next adventure?
Yeah, so I'll start again tomorrow. I get a full week off every time, which is always well received. Usually, like by now, I'm kind of like, all right, like I'm ready to start running again. Usually, my sleep is pretty messed up by now, but I just got back from France yesterday, so now my sleep's messed up anyway from jet lag. And then next week will be just 45 miles, which is like pretty low key for me. I'm not doubling or anything, and I've got a day or two off in there, so I build back really slowly.
Nice.
And are you
Yeah,
the kind of
go ahead.
person? I'm sorry. Are you the kind of person that kind of goes like very introspective when like reflecting on a race? Because I mean, it's a huge deal. You finished 12th in the Olympic marathon, first American. Like it's just so. How is reflection and looking back on this experience? How has it been for you?
Yeah, I feel like I do a lot of that stuff while I'm running, honestly. So I feel like I haven't had like the time that I've needed to really think about it. I already know I've got like such mixed feelings about it. I am so proud to be the first American, especially being the third to qualify. And I know that 12th is amazing, but it's right on the bubble. Like 10th would have been a lot more awesome than 12th. So I definitely will do some, reflection on it. I journal quite a bit, so I have journaled a lot about the race, but I feel like I get to really go back in my head and replay the race when I'm running.
Yeah, for sure. That's the best. That's the best time to really just like separate and look back and get a good idea of how to unpack things, because it's just you and your thoughts, and it's just like, okay, let me think back to what really just happened here, because it's like I said, it's an opportunity and just an experience of a lifetime to do something that crazy. Like us mortal people, we would never be able to understand how like heavy that is. So sometimes I look back on my races and I'm just like, oh, I I could have picked up some time here, or I let go of the rope a little bit here. And it's just like, I think sometimes us as recreational runners, we kind of beat up on ourselves a lot when really like we're supposed to be doing this for fun. So I couldn't imagine like, you know, somebody like you that's very serious about competition, how much you go back and really just think about the small things that you could have did better, or you know, the small the I's and the T's you could have crossed and dotted to have a good race. So yeah, the reflection is going to be important, but I think the journaling part is really cool, because it's like you get to journal. I ran to the Olympics yesterday. Like that's
Yeah.
I will say something I truly believe is that if I were to ever finish a race and be like you said, like if I couldn't think of one like T I should have crossed, or like if everything went so perfect that I couldn't think back and be like, oh, I wish that had gone better. I wish that had been stronger here, more focus there. That'll be the day I retire, because you know, you may as well go out on top. I think we'll always be hungry, even a recreational runner. You're always going to think back like, oh, did I really go to the well? Did I really give it 100%? And if I ever feel that way, that'll be the last race I ever run.
And for somebody that that just literally trained for like a race that she dreamed about and performed very well on such a terrible, tough course, what would be like your advice for folks that are listening or watching that have a goal race this fall, whether it's a half marathon or a full marathon? What's your advice for them going into that?
I think for me, it's you've got time. Hopefully you've got time, even if you're running Chicago, New York, whatever's coming up, you've got time now to make sure that you're doing everything that you need to do on the start line. Get on the start line and look back and say, I did all the runs I needed to. I listened to my body when I needed to. I did the core, you know, the prehab, the rehab, because then even if that race goes not as well as you hoped, you know, you did everything to get there as healthy and as strong as possible. And at that point, you can't lose, because even if that race goes bad, there's always another race you can sign up for. And that's going to be something that you can build off of all the hard work that you did getting to there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And as runners, we understand like how much sacrifice goes into, especially training for a goal race. And it's funny. I was watching Sprint yesterday, and after Fred, I'm gonna spoil episode 5, but after Fred Curley lost in the 100 final, and he was talking to his coach, and he's like, all right, no more candy, no more Red Bull. It's a new Fred Curley. I'm gonna lock in. Like, are there any guilty pleasures or things that you kind of have to stay away from in training, but then you might, like at a time like now, you're kind of letting loose a little bit and doing?
Yeah, I think that's so. When I saw that, I laughed so hard, because you just like can't really get away with that kind of stuff in marathon training. Don't get me wrong. Like, I am ordering crumble cookie. I am eating my sweets and whatnot, but because like obviously like calorie wise, at some point it's like I just need to fuel my body and get the calories. But I would say like I definitely stay away from like alcohol. That's a big one. And then just like I kind of think about like 80-20 on my plate, 80% healthy, 20% just whatever I want. So I'd say the biggest thing that I change is like I'll have a couple drinks after a marathon, but otherwise I just hate the way that alcohol makes me feel in general. So, you know, I don't do that when I'm training seriously, because I'm just trying to get the best sleep that I can possibly get. But I found it just so funny when I saw that part too, because I was like, how is he getting to this level and he's eating all this candy and Red Bull?
It's so funny. I was talking about it on the run today, and I'm just like, we went through 6 episodes and we didn't see these people eat anything healthy. Like, you got Sha'Carri at the pre-race, like she's like loading her plate up with fries. And then you got Sharika Jackson is like at the fried chicken place, like, yeah, can I get a 3-piece dark? And I'm just like, what? And then the day of the race, she's like, yeah, can you run over to McDonald's and get some nuggets for me? And I'm just like, okay, they eat whatever they want and they look amazing and they run super fast. Like, it must feel good to be God's favorite.
Yeah, I think it's like it has to be like the distance. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I don't think like as training for a marathon, running. Wait, how many miles do you run typically at peak?
130.
I don't think you can run 130 and then eat like sweets in McDonald's and stuff like that. I think you need like real food,
Totally.
less inflammation, because you're already like killing yourself. I mean, Fred probably hasn't run a mile consistent in like probably his like since he was like in middle school. So
I mean,
I
did you
don't
hear?
think
Did
it
you hear
counts.
Gabby Thomas on the Today Show this week?
Yeah, that surprised
Like,
me so much.
The mile is her peak. Like we do the
It
mile.
surprised me, and I was like, "How fast do you do it? I need to know." I like
Oh, yeah,
immediately
let's-
went to Let's Run, and I was like, "Somebody figure this out for me."
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm that surprised me though because I thought like someone that runs like a 200 or 400 or whatever kind of trains more like that, like I run 3-4 miles at a time type of thing. Like I would have thought she would be more in that endurance part, but she's just all. I mean, 200 is 200. I guess it's just all speed, all power.
Yeah,
That's
I find
crazy.
it like in my head. I'm like, "What do you do at practice then? If you're not running miles, like
Yeah.
it makes my brain just kind of fold." I'm like,
I
"What
know
are you
you can
doing
only
there
do
then?"
so many drills, right? Like
Right,
okay,
exactly.
They
Like
do
the
a
practice is
powerful
an
start
hour.
and then they stand around for 30 minutes and then they do another start and then they stand around for 30 minutes and recover. It's just a lot of recovery,
Yeah.
Yeah,
be fully recovered and ready to get ready for the next rep,
yeah, like a lot of like dynamic movements and rest, basically.
Yeah,
But
and they're
yeah,
hitting the
that'd
gym
be
a
a
lot
fun
more than
practice.
I am, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. And they're practicing
They do.
like before they get in the block, like the cool, like, you gotta have like a cool ritual before you get in the block, and that takes a lot of practice. So you gotta do that.
That's true. Noel Lyles is definitely practicing that.
He's in the mirror
Yeah.
practicing all the time for sure.
Man, I mean, I think he's probably got the best like entrances
Totally.
that we've ever seen. I think. I don't know if they're the best. They're definitely there's a lot. There's a lot there.
They're the
There's
most
something.
talked about. They're the most talked about, which is the best, I think.
The way that he came flying out of like the Bat Cave on that last race was just so ridiculous. I'm like, what's going on?
So
Yeah.
crazy. But it caught your attention. You thought about it.
Yeah.
I heard somebody was in the chat and in the comments were like, yo, I think he used all his energy on the intro because he ran out faster than he ran in the final.
Totally.
Yeah, but
That was
I just
before
want
he
to.
got
He got
COVID. And the
That's
box,
what
he got COVID.
he was- yeah, he definitely didn't have COVID when he came out from the back though, because
No,
he was for
he was
sure
fine
feeling
then.
good. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And obviously it was really cool for us to have yet another Olympian on the show, but then also obviously the Puma relation is a huge deal for us because this whole Summer of Speed season is powered by Puma. We're giving away one more pair of shoes today, the Puma Deviate 3, Deviate Nitro 3. Have you run in that shoe yet?
I have. So I've been a fan of the Deviate Nitro since the beginning. That was one of my favorite shoes. And it's just like each version they bring out, I'm like, there's no way you can be better than the last version. And like the 3 is amazing, I think. I use it a lot on long runs, especially my faster ones, to just kind of keep cadence up. And then it kind of gives your body a good reminder of what like the Deviate elites are like. Yeah, great shoe for sure.
Yeah, I was saying before when we were talking about it, like it's definitely one of those shoes that kind of can cover like a lot of the bases in training. Like there's some, not everybody can have like 4, 5, 6 pairs of shoes to like kind of like rotate through. So it's kind of cool to when someone says, "Hey, what shoe should I get?" It's nice to be able to point to a shoe that someone can get a lot of very dynamic shoes. You can get a lot of different uses out of it. So the Puma Deviate Nitro 3 is definitely one of those for me.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Would you like to be a part of our giveaway? Would you like to be on there while we spin the wheel?
Sure, totally.
Awesome. If you said no, it would have been awkward.
Yeah. Actually, I gotta go. Just kidding.
All right. So let me.
All right. While you're pulling it
Actually,
up,
no,
I
I
got a
don't want to be
quick
part of
question.
any fun today.
If you're working on it, let me ask a quick question. You're from Minnesota.
Go ahead. Yeah, dude.
Minnesota's been in the news quite a bit while you were gone. So one of the questions I thought I'd ask, and I don't want to get you in trouble here, but Lutefisk, is that a pre-run or post-run meal?
That's a never for me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I looked that up a couple of
Yeah.
weeks ago. I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a necessary part of my diet at all.
No.
Okay, but what is it?
It's
Pickled fish of some
Yeah.
sort.
yeah, it's a dried cod that they rehydrate to like a gel. It's interesting to describe it. I don't know if I've ever actually seen any photos, but just reading the description, I was like, oh, okay.
It looks
Is it
about
like
as appetizing as you think it would, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, the name says it all, right?
Is it like a Viking like thing, like something like back in the day, like they used to like have to
I'm sure it put hair on their chest or something like that. I don't know.
yeah. You can't go sailing the seven seas without lutefisk. I thought you were asking about the rapper. I'm like, what does this have to do with Minnesota?
I've learned
All
more
right,
about Minnesota culinary things in the last couple weeks than I have in my whole life.
Yeah, and Nebraska.
Hot dish, you know, that's something that I've.
Why are you learning about this? What do you mean?
Yeah,
it's
I know.
illegal?
What's happening?
There's a vice presidential candidate that is the
Oh.
governor of Minnesota.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you guys heard about that, but it was pretty big.
I did. I just didn't realize that our all our food was going to get exposed. Also,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's out there now. All right, so let's get this these shoes given away, and then we can let you go on your way to get some more rest, relaxation, and hopefully some sweets or something.
yeah.
All right, you tell me when to click, and I'll go.
Click.
Is it working?
No,
No.
it's not
No.
working. You have to click it, Tommy.
Yeah. If she says click, then you go click.
Oh, I gotta be on the page. That's why I clicked the fake screen. All right, let's try it again.
All right, click.
There we
There
go.
we go.
I was like, click like the random. Oh my god,
You
it's
click the
terrible.
video. You're a genius.
All right, Myra G. All right, Gary, write it down.
I'm looking.
Write it down. All right, so congratulations. You just won a pair of Puma DV8 Nitro 3s. You heard it here first from Dakota. They are the bee's knees, and they are better than lutefisk.
Stamp.
But thank you so much for being on the show. We cannot wait to see what you have coming up next. And we will be rooting for you. And shout out to Puma. Shout out to you. Peace out.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming
Thank
on.
you.
Good to meet you, Dakota.
Yeah, have a good night.
You too. Well, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That's right.
Man.
It's really cool to see people that are so good at what they do and, you know, so talented, but still, they're still people like us. Sometimes, you know,
Yeah.
especially like these like track and field or just like runners in general, sometimes it almost feels like, you know, they're just machines on your TV screen, but you realize that all these people are unique human beings with their own stories and their own paths on how they got there. So really cool to talk to people like that. And, you know, we getting used to speaking to Olympians, you know, it's like regular.
I mean, are you really an Olympian if you haven't been on the PR project yet? I mean, Mondo really should be on here. Like, we have to ratify whether he got the world record or not, for real.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So many
All right,
jokes
well,
there, but I'm gonna keep them all to myself.
I mean, I feel like we got time.
No, I just can't. You want to ratify this man's poll? That's crazy.
Oh my god.
Thanks for coming on. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. And there goes the show. But yeah, man, I think that's so cool because, like, I guess whenever I end up, I mean, I think we don't think about the Olympics much. I don't. Normal folks don't think
Speak
about
for
like, I
yourself.
can't wait.
I wake up to it. The Olympic rings above my bed every morning.
My ringtone, my alarm clock
That's
is the Olympic theme.
Okay, guys. All right. All right. Well, that got strange. But I mean, like, in a year, we're not like, man, I can't wait till the Olympics in 2.5 years, 3 years, you know? But there's people that are literally like waking up to Olympic rings on their ceiling because they're training to make it to the next Olympics.
Yeah.
And then you get to watch all this happen. And literally, like if you just I heard somebody describe the Olympics as like generational like generational history or generational moment or something like that, where like every house should just have it playing, because it's literally like this thing that we all can kind of get along, like get like into anywhere in the world. Like you could turn it on and you have something like potentially like that. I mean, a lot of places in the world.
Not in India, bro. They didn't win one gold medal.
Oh my god. Okay, but somebody to root for it. There's somebody to root for.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, but like there's and it's just, but then every race, whether it was from the preliminaries to the rounds to everything, you literally see people in that moment like realize a part of their dreams. You know. Also, on the other hand, you see people's dreams shattered right in front of you at the same moment. But we're going to talk about the positive. But I just think it's really cool, and I love that we're able to have someone post Olympics had a great race and talked about it with her.
Yeah, that would have been a tough conversation with somebody that didn't do that great. Even though lately I've seen a lot of content around the lady that finished last in the women's marathon. Oh, because she was like injured or something, but
yeah, she still had a broken leg or something like that.
Yeah, and it's just like everybody, like I said, literally every athlete there has a story of how they got there, and there's a bunch of people that helped get them to the start line, and they're representing their country. It's just it's amazing that there's an event like the Olympics. Just the idea of bringing athletes from all over the globe to compete on a even playing field, like it's truly unreal. And hats off to Peacock for really like allowing us to tap into what we wanted to see, because there was a time where you really only saw what they wanted you to see, and because there was only so much ability for them to provide you content for that. But now, like, if you're really into like rock climbing, if you're really into climbing, you could have watched every climbing event, the entire Olympics, if you wanted to do that. So I
like the multi-view. So if like you didn't have a sport that you really wanted to watch, like focused on, you had 4 different things just to kind of, oh, this looks interesting, or who's playing this. Yeah. And then I didn't really get into the going for gold, but I hear that's pretty cool too. It's kind of like the NFL Red Zone.
Yeah, they call it
the gold medal match. They're gonna take you right to it. So that was a great concept. I think they're gonna bring that one back as well. So
man, it's in LA next. It's in LA in 24. So it's a U.S. home turf. We got to be there.
I think it's man. I saw they said a pass to one day of track is like $4,000. Insane, bro.
What?
Insanity.
A what?
Insanity, bro. One pass to a day of track is like $4,000.
Or francs or for.
I know. Wait, what are you talking about?
In LA. In LA.
Oh,
already. That's what they thinking about it's gonna be. Yeah, I way my bank account set up. I ain't got that. It ain't in my checking or my savings.
What is it? I think
it ain't in either one of them.
We
need brand partnerships.
Maybe 4 years from now, the PR project will be too big to tell no to. So think big. Yep. You gotta think big.
Yeah.
But
congratulations.
I was talking to somebody. I'm sorry. I was talking to somebody at Gazelle when we were there. We were on 3-on-3, and he said he got into fencing because he saw fencing in the Olympics in 2012, and he started fencing. Like, are you aware of the sport fencing? You're looking as though you don't know what fencing is.
I was just like, wow, that's cool. Like, no, I was into the
but yeah,
sport.
So and I think this is like this Olympics specifically, the amount of visibility that it got, and getting into the algorithms on TikTok and on Instagram and everything like that. I think we'll see more of kids, more the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha kids, really like kind of taking back athletics, because I mean, it's hard to get them away from Roblox and Fortnite right now. So to see, athletics on TV or just any sport in general, it may pique their interest to try it out. And I think that's what the Olympics is truly about, is growing the sports that are in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Everything can't be basketball, soccer.
Yeah, I think that they did. I mean, it's like you said, I think that Peacock did a really great job in and I think it's perfect that the world has shifted to streaming, as opposed to like TV, because you literally in one spot you could just click through and see all these different things and have like just so much more. And for the athletes side of things, like good job for them to be able to be seen, to be able to show their, because like you win a gold in some of these other sports, these that we don't, that like America doesn't really rock with or whatever. Nobody even knows you, but at this point, like people saw things that they never would have seen before. Like, like we kind of joked about the breaking earlier, or like, even like the shot put stuff, like obviously it's right there on the field. But a lot of times, like for certain like meets on like for like Diamond League and stuff like that, you don't even get to see it really, because like if 100's at the same time as that, you're not watching it. It's
and
one,
you learn
one
more.
view.
Like archery has been in the Olympics for I don't know how many years, but I didn't realize until they were showing it on its own. It's like a football field between. I think we talked about this last time, but it's a football field between where the archers are and where the target is. I had no idea. I think I said to you, Tommy. I thought it was like Paint Creek. Excuse me. When we go on Paint Creek, you see that archery station. Like a camp or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
But
No.
these
No, I
guys are
did.
like-
Yeah, when you said that, I thought. I mean, I guess I never thought about how far away the target was, but I didn't think it was like a football field. That's scary. Imagine, bro. You think you getting away, and dude just got back and let it fly. You swear that you go. You actually probably already stopped running because you're like, he can't hit me from here. He hits you.
He hit you in the Achilles.
Isn't that where you got? Yeah, isn't that where you got shot with the arrow? That's hilarious.
Call back the history. Something like
Yeah,
that.
there you go. There you go. But
Tommy,
yeah,
I
man.
have a good idea for you. I know you're trying to close it out. But
No,
I
was itching.
So I remember you put on Instagram, what should I do for my birthday to celebrate it from a running standpoint? I got an idea. I was listening to Strength Running Podcast today, and it was Jason Fitzgerald and Jonathan Levitt, I believe the guy's name is. And he said his 30th birthday, he ran 30 by 1 minute on, 1 minute off.
No.
40 by 1 minute on, 1 minute. I wasn't even gonna blow your spot up, but now since you want to be hard.
Actually, did you see what Cal Neff did?
Oh no, I definitely don't want to do what Cal Neff does.
Cal Neff did. He just turned 40. He did 41 Ks.
I wanted something.
He's an ultra runner, like
You run
40 by 1 minute on, 1 minute off is very doable. It's 40 minutes of work.
But I don't know.
I think you can do it. I think.
I mean, I could.
It's that long to work out. Shout out, Nick. Yeah, he knows what he's talking about, bro. 2 mile warm up, 2 mile cool down, 40 minutes, 40 by 1 minute, 1 mile an hour for 40 hours.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Maurice. That's what we doing. No, so what I am gonna do for my birthday is I'm not doing anything. What I'm going to, Gary had thrown this like random idea, like you should raise some money, and what I'm doing. I got the little pin with my happy birthday, stick a little dollar on there, we good. No, but what I'm gonna do, and I'm actually about to announce it like tomorrow or the next day after that, is there's a foundation called Release Recovery, based out of New York, and they raise money for folks in recovery or seeking help with addiction. And as I'm getting kind of closer to it to kind of find out really like what it's all about, they're literally sponsoring or giving scholarships to people for rehab, because rehab is a very costly thing and most people's insurance doesn't. Well, a lot of people don't have insurance, but then also you have to have a very good insurance to have it actually covered enough to make you even want to keep going, because a lot of people don't go to rehab just because of that barrier of entry. So they're actually giving scholarships away to people that for full coverage for them to be in these rehab facilities, which I'm blessed to not have to have. I didn't get that far to need to go that route. But there's people that while I was in the recovery meetings that had gone through that and were very into like helping and reaching back. So I feel like this is the perfect time for me, turning 40, to give back to that community in a bigger way. So what I'm going to do is I'm doing a fundraiser. What I'm doing is a fundraiser to on my birthday. It's for people to donate to Release Recovery Foundation. So what I'm doing is asking people to donate $40 on my birthday.
$40.
Yeah,
That's
$40.
That's what's up.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah, I didn't do anything special yesterday. Is she telling us that her birthday was yesterday?
Yeah.
Is
her
that the
birthday
way?
was
Is that
yesterday.
the way? Hey, happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Alexis.
Happy birthday,
belated.
Alexis.
Happy birthday! Happy 30th. But yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do is and that's where I'm supposed to be going to New York for. The guy Zach Clark has a Zach Clark show, but he talks very specifically and openly about sobriety and recovery and addiction. And I was gonna host the group run that's tomorrow night. Missed that because of the weather or whatever, but still gonna go this week and interview and do that thing, do the podcast with him, because I think that's a really good opportunity for me to kind of speak with another person that's like in that vibe. But that's what I'm doing for my birthday. So if you got a couple dollars, set them to the side for Thursday. I'm gonna announce it, and it's gonna be around the New York City Marathon. Like it'll look like a New York City fundraiser, but I have a bib already, so I don't. This isn't like to get me to go to New York because I'm going, So all of the money will go to the facilities. All of it. It's not like 5,000 of it's going to pay for this and that or whatever. Every single dollar that is given to me will go to people that need it.
That's good stuff.
Very noble, Tommy.
Thanks. And hopefully I can explain that.
If you start
better
driving now,
faster.
you can make the group run.
I thought about it.
Crazy.
But
you're a crazy person.
All right. So thanks, man. That was dope. I think we gotta figure out what Olympian we have next. Honestly, we gotta keep shooting for stars. Literally.
Ray Gunn.
Rachel Gunn.
I swear she had on Pumas. She might have had on Pumas, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Australia's ASICS. So we'll have to wait.
Oh, darn.
We'll have to wait. Yeah.
We'll have to settle for Sharika Jackson.
Okay.
I'd settle.
Actually,
I don't know if she wants to talk.
Yeah.
I don't know if she wants to talk.
I mean,
Her
she come
Olympic
here and throw the Olympic Committee under the bus. It'll be good TV.
Please. Oh, Usain. Either her or Usain.
Yeah, you say.
I love that we're talking about like I love that we're talking like we got like these options.
Yeah. It was funny when Usain Bolt was like, me and Shelly Ann Fraser Price started at the same time, and she's still going. Make me think maybe I should have stayed a little longer. Like, nah, you're not built like that. You're not built like that.
No. Man, he was breaking. I mean, he was young and breaking down then. Remember? Like not remember, but I watched like some of the documentaries and all that. But he was like, yeah, he was stitched together halfway back then. But all right, y'all, dope show. Thanks, guys. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks Dakota for being on the show. We out. Audi 5000 in this thing.
That brother
they just dropping names.